My beloved child, have you ever walked away from a situation knowing deep down you should have spoken up? Have you ever smiled when you wanted to cry, agreed when you wanted to say no, or stayed silent just to keep the peace? If so, you are not alone. Many are afraid of conflict. You have been taught that being nice is better than being honest. But I tell you this truth, avoiding conflict is not peace. It is a prison. If you want to be free, you must stop being afraid of conflict. Listen to me as I reveal why fear of conflict holds you back, and how to build the strength to face it, not with hate, but with power, courage, and calm. This is not about starting fights. It is about ending the war inside yourself. It is about standing strong when life, people, or even your own mind pushes you down. 1. The hidden cost of avoiding conflict. From a young age, you have been taught one simple lesson: avoid conflict. You have been told to be good, to smile, to not raise your voice, and to stay calm even when you are hurt or angry. Parents, teachers, and society have told you that being peaceful means avoiding arguments, not expressing strong opinions, and always being polite. On the surface, this sounds like good advice. After all, who wants to be known as a troublemaker? But I tell you, when you always avoid conflict, you also avoid something much more important: growth, freedom, and self-respect. You begin to live for the comfort of others, not for the truth inside your heart. And slowly, without even realizing it, you lose your ability to stand up for yourself. In the beginning, it may feel like the right thing to do. You say yes when someone asks for something, even when you are tired. You stay quiet when someone is rude just to avoid drama. You smile when someone disrespects you, hoping they will stop on their own. You keep your real feelings hidden because you do not want anyone to be upset. It feels like you are choosing peace, but in reality, you are choosing silence over strength. Avoiding conflict may make others feel good, but it often makes you feel small. You begin to feel like your voice does not matter, like your opinions do not count, like your needs are not as important as keeping others happy. This is not peace. This is a quiet kind of prison, one you build around yourself with every moment you choose fear over truth. And the cost of this silent prison is very high. When you keep avoiding conflict, you begin to feel anxious. You worry about what others think. You wonder if you are being used or if people even respect you. You start to feel resentment toward those who take advantage of your silence. And worst of all, you feel regret. Because deep down, you know you should have spoken up, but you did not. You also begin to lose trust in yourself every time you lie and say, "I'm fine," when you are not. Every time you smile when you want to cry, every time you let someone cross your boundaries, you chip away at your own self-worth. And little by little, you forget who you are. You are not here to be silent. You are not here to be used. You are not here to make everyone else comfortable while you suffer inside. You're here to live your truth, and sometimes that truth will make people uncomfortable. That is okay. You do not have to be loud or aggressive to stand up for yourself. You just have to be honest. You just have to choose truth over fear. Because in the end, the cost of peace without honesty is too high. True peace comes when you are no longer afraid to be yourself, even when it causes conflict. True freedom begins the moment you decide your voice matters, and it does. Conflict is not the enemy, fear is. Conflict is not something you can escape. It is part of everyday life. Whether you are with family, at work, in school, or simply walking through life, you will face moments where people disagree with you, challenge you, or treat you unfairly. That is normal. That is human. Every strong relationship, every great leader, every successful journey, behind all of them is some form of conflict that had to be faced, not avoided. But here is the truth most do not want to admit. Conflict is not the real enemy. The real enemy is fear. Fear of conflict is what stops you from living freely. Fear makes you avoid the hard conversations. It makes you swallow your words, fake a smile, and stay silent when something needs to be said. Fear tells you if you speak up, they will not like you. If you push back, things will fall apart. If you say no, you will lose them. But think about this. How many times have you stayed quiet just to keep the peace, yet felt broken inside? How many times have you walked away from a moment of truth because fear told you to? You wanted to speak up, but your voice froze. You wanted to set a boundary, but you felt too weak. That is not because you are not brave. It is because fear has been lying to you. Fear whispers lies in your ear. It says, "Do not rock the boat." But sometimes you need to rock the boat, because if you do not, It will sink with you inside. Avoiding conflict may feel safe in the moment, but it is dangerous in the long run. It teaches others that your silence is permission. It teaches you that your voice does not matter. But something powerful happens when you begin to face conflict, not with anger, but with clarity and calm. You stop being a prisoner of fear. You stop running from hard things. You stop apologizing for who you are. You become someone who stands tall even when the wind blows. You become someone who is free. Freedom does not come from being liked by everyone. Freedom does not come from being the quiet one in the room. Freedom comes from being honest, brave and real, even when it is uncomfortable. When you can look someone in the eye and calmly say, "That does not work for me," or "Please do not speak to me like that," or "I disagree." That is when you know fear no longer controls you. You do not have to fear conflict. Conflict is not war. Conflict is just a sign that something needs to change, and you, with calm words and clear thinking, can be the one who brings that change, not through yelling, not through hate, but through strength and truth. The next time fear tells you to back down, take a deep breath and remember this: fear is not your master. You were not born to be silent. You were born to be free, and freedom starts the moment you stop fearing conflict and start standing in your truth. Stand up even if your voice shakes. You do not have to be loud to be strong. You do not have to shout to be heard. You do not need to fight to stand your ground. You just need to speak even if your voice shakes. Speaking up can be scary, especially if you have been quiet for a long time. Maybe you are used to staying silent to avoid arguments. Maybe you have convinced yourself that your feelings do not matter, or that it is better to let things go. Maybe you have smiled through pain, laughed to hide hurt, or nodded when deep inside you were screaming no. If this sounds familiar, know this: you are not weak. You are just tired of carrying pain that was never meant to be yours. But here is the truth. You do not have to live this way anymore. You can decide right now to make a change, not by becoming angry or aggressive, but by choosing firmness, clarity, and self-respect. Standing up for yourself does not mean creating drama. It does not mean attacking others. It means calmly and clearly expressing your truth. It is saying, "This does not work for me. I feel uncomfortable when you say that. I need something different." You do not have to shout. You do not have to explain every detail. You do not need anyone's permission to protect your peace. It might feel uncomfortable the first few times. Your voice may tremble. Your heart may race. You may worry what the other person will think, but do it anyway, because every time you speak up, you send a powerful message to yourself. You tell yourself, "I matter. My feelings are real. My needs are important." At first it might feel like climbing a mountain, but with each small step you become stronger. The more you speak your truth, the more confident you become. You begin to realize that the fear you felt was just a shadow, powerful only when you stayed silent. Once you face it, it starts to disappear, and something beautiful happens. People start treating you differently. They begin to see that you have boundaries. They begin to understand that you are not someone who can be pushed around. You may lose a few people who preferred the version of you that stayed quiet, but you will gain something far more important: self-respect. Your peace is precious. Your heart deserves protection. You were not created to be walked on or ignored. You were meant to stand tall even if your legs shake. You were meant to speak truth even if your voice cracks. And with time, your voice will not shake anymore. It will be strong, steady, and sure because it is built on truth. So when the moment comes, do not run, do not hide, do not shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Stand up. Speak up, even if it is hard, even if it is awkward, even if you are afraid. Because every time you do, you grow a little more into the person you were always meant to be: brave, honest, and free. People will test you. Let them. There is a powerful truth that many do not talk about, but once you understand it, your whole life begins to change. People will test you, and that is okay. Yes, people will push your limits. They will test your patience, your kindness, and your boundaries. Some will try to guilt you, control you, or make you feel like you are a bad person just because you did not give them what they wanted. They may use silence, anger, or emotional tricks to make you feel small. But here is what you need to remember. That is not your fault. That is not your responsibility. That is not your problem. Your only job in life is not to keep everyone happy. Your job is to be real, to be honest, and to protect your peace. If being real upsets someone, it reveals more about them than it does about you. People who truly care about you will respect your limits. People who do not will complain, manipulate, or walk away. And you know what? Let them. Let people test you. Let them push. Let them show you who they really are. This is not a sign of failure. It is a part of life and a part of growth. Every time someone tests you and you stand your ground, you become stronger. Every time you say no and keep your peace, you gain power. You do not become cold or rude. You become clear. It is not easy, especially if you are used to saying yes all the time. Maybe you have been the one who always helps, always listens, always gives even when you are tired. Maybe you have been afraid to disappoint people, afraid to lose relationships. But what about your relationship with yourself? How long will you ignore your own needs to keep others satisfied? You do not owe your life to anyone who drains your energy. You do not owe your time, your effort, or your attention to people who do not respect your boundaries. Just because someone asks does not mean you have to say yes. Just because someone is angry does not mean you did something wrong. You have the right to choose yourself. Some people will leave when you stop being a people pleaser, and that is not a loss, it is a blessing. Because real friends, real supporters, real love, those things never require you to be small. They never ask you to betray yourself. If someone cannot handle your boundaries, then they were only comfortable with your silence, not your truth. Let them test you. Let them react. Let them go if they must. You are not here to shrink for anyone. You are here to live fully, freely, and truthfully. Your freedom is worth more than fake peace. Your happiness is worth more than fake friendships. You deserve a life where you can be you without fear, without guilt, without shame. So the next time someone tries to test you, smile gently and stand firm. Let them see that the old version of you, the one who stayed quiet, gave too much, and broke inside, is gone. You are not afraid anymore. You are free. You can disagree without being disrespectful. Many believe that if you disagree with someone, it will lead to a fight. They think conflict means shouting, slamming doors, or saying hurtful things. But that is not true. You can disagree without being disrespectful. You can say no without yelling. You can share your truth without hurting anyone. You can walk away without burning bridges. This is real power. Not the power to control others, but the power to stay calm, clear, and respectful even when things get hard. One of the most dangerous beliefs you carry is that keeping the peace means staying silent. But fake peace, peace that hides the truth, is not peace at all. It is fear. It is the fear of upsetting others, the fear of being judged, the fear of rejection, and that fear keeps many trapped in unhealthy conversations and relationships. But what if you learned that conflict can actually be healthy? What if you understood that speaking up is not about being rude, but about being honest? Imagine this, someone says something that goes against your values. Instead of staying silent, you calmly say, "I see it differently." That is it. No shouting, no anger, just truth. Or someone pressures you to do something you do not want to do. Instead of giving in, you say, "I am not comfortable with that." These are small words, but they are filled with strength. Real strength is quiet. Real strength is calm. It is not about how loud you can be. It is about how clearly you can speak while keeping your peace. Strong people do not try to dominate a room. They do not need to win every argument. Instead, they respond instead of reacting. They take a breath. They choose their words. They stay grounded even in the middle of tension. When you stop fearing conflict, you stop overreacting. You begin to understand that not every disagreement is a threat. Some are opportunities, opportunities to grow, to learn, to build better connections. And some are signals that something needs to change or that someone does not belong in your inner circle. Start small. Practice saying no. It does not have to be dramatic. Just say no thank you or that does not work for me. Practice sharing your opinion even if it is different. You do not have to shout to be heard. Just speak with calm confidence. And practice walking away when people try to drag you into drama. You do not need to attend every argument you are invited to. Not every battle is worth your energy. You do not need to fight about everything. But when something truly matters to you, your values, your boundaries, your well-being, stand your ground. Choose your battles wisely and never fear them, because When you stay calm, honest and respectful, you protect not only yourself, but also the dignity of the conversation. You can be kind and firm. You can be gentle and strong. And when you master this, you become the kind of person who brings peace without pretending, a person who leads with truth, not fear. Conflict builds character and confidence. Do you want to be stronger? Do you want to walk into a room with confidence? Do you want people to respect you, not because you are loud, but because you are sure of yourself? Then listen closely. Do not run from conflict. Learn from it. Conflict is not just a problem to avoid, it is a powerful teacher. It pushes you out of your comfort zone. It forces you to make choices, to speak truth, and to face the things that scare you. It might not feel good in the moment, but conflict is what helps you grow into the person you are meant to be. Every time you face a hard situation with courage, you learn something about yourself. You learn what you believe in. You learn what you are willing to tolerate and what you are not. You start to trust your gut. You begin to realize, I can handle this. I do not have to run. I do not have to hide. That is where real confidence begins. Confidence is not about never being afraid. It is about facing fear anyway. It is not about having all the answers. It is about knowing, even if this is hard, I will figure it out. Even if I make mistakes, I will grow from them. Conflict gives you this kind of confidence, not through easy days, but through difficult moments that test your spirit. Think about the people you admire, the ones who seem strong, calm, and respected. They did not get that way by avoiding trouble. They went through things. They had to speak up when it was risky. They had to say no when it was uncomfortable. They had to walk away from people or situations that did not serve their peace. They had to stand alone. They were not born brave. They became brave through pain, through pressure, through practice. You can become brave too. You do not have to let conflict break you. You can let it build you, let it shape you, not into someone cold or angry, but into someone clear, wise and strong. When you go through a tough conversation and come out the other side still standing, you realize, I'm stronger than I thought. That experience stays with you. It becomes part of your character. It becomes part of your confidence. And little by little, you stop fearing people's opinions. You stop worrying about being liked all the time. You stop second-guessing yourself because you faced the fire and you did not run. You will still feel nervous sometimes. You may still shake when you speak your truth. That is okay. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is action in the face of it. Keep showing up. Keep choosing honesty. Keep setting boundaries. Keep learning through conflict, because each time you do, you become more of your true self. Someone who is not controlled by fear. Someone who knows their worth. Someone who stands tall. Not because life is easy, but because they have walked through difficulty and grown stronger. Let conflict be your teacher. Let it sharpen your mind. Let it strengthen your heart. Let it build the confident, powerful, and peaceful version of you that the world is waiting to see. Stop trying to keep the peace that destroys you. So many walk through life feeling tired, not because of physical work, but because they are emotionally and mentally exhausted. They are tired from pretending, tired from hiding, tired from constantly trying to keep the peace. But here is the hard truth. If keeping the peace means destroying yourself, then it is not peace. It is a prison. Peace is not silence at the cost of your soul. Peace is not shrinking yourself so others feel comfortable. Peace is not avoiding your truth so that no one gets upset. That is not peace. That is fear. That is control. That is self-betrayal. When you are always saying yes to things that make you feel no inside, you lose touch with who you are. When you avoid conflict by staying quiet even when your heart is screaming, you start to disappear. You smile on the outside, but inside, you feel angry, empty, and frustrated. You keep the peace, but you lose yourself. And what is the price of that false peace? Your joy, your confidence, your sense of freedom. You become anxious. You start to question your own feelings.